I'm Viktor Umansky. I'm a group leader in the Department of Clinical Cooperation Unit of Dermato-Oncology. It's in German Cancer Research Center in Heidelberg and a University Medical Center in Mannheim. My field is the tumor immunology, so we are studying how we can better treat melanoma patients.
And do you have any membership in Ukrainian or German organizations?
Well, I'm a member of several scientific organizations, so in Germany and in Ukraine, no, because I left Ukraine. Actually, it was still, Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union. I left Ukraine in January 1991. So this year, it's exactly 30 years, 12th of January, I left Ukraine. So therefore, and since it was like still as part of the Soviet Union, so I was a member of some organization there, but of course in Ukraine, there are new organizations and I'm not a member of them.
Academic life in Ukraine.
I graduated from medical, now they call medical university, because before it was a medical institute of Bogomolets. So I graduated this institute in 1978, but I was already dedicated to do some scientific work, and I started just to work not in clinical science, but just in experimental medicine, trying just to solve again the problem of some tumor immunology. So I started from tumor immunology from the very beginning. And I started to work in the Institute of Oncology Problems in Kiev, Kavetsky Institute, and I defended my dissertation in 1982 there. After that, I continued to work in Institute of Kavetsky of Oncology, working as a postdoc, and then of course it was not the name of postdoc, but it's like equivalent to postdoc, and then created also my own group. And then Perestroika started, and it was then easier just to get some stipend just to do the work in outside of the Soviet Union. And French government at that time created a stipend for postdocs from the East European countries. And I got an invitation to come to France, to Dijon. And after a lot of paperwork and making all the documents, because the life was completely different than now. We did not have our own international passports. So I had to issue that, or they had to issue for me in Ukrainian Academy of Science, a passport. And then I got there the visum that actually they organized everything. And then I went to Dijon, to France, and working in the laboratory of tumor immunology in the University of Dijon. So it's a small city, like 200,000 people in the capital of the province, Bourgogne, which is very famous for, first of all, for their wine, of course, and very, very beautiful cuisine there. And I worked there just for almost 2 years. I had to learn French language, of course, in this moment. I knew English, but unfortunately in the Soviet Union, the level of preparation was not so good, but I tried to make my best. But the most, of course, difficult was French, because it was completely new language for me. Another difficulties is that, of course, I think that nowadays the Ukrainian students coming to the West country will not have these problems. The problem was that the life in the Soviet Union and Ukraine in the Soviet Union was completely different than in the West. We did not have any credit cards, we did not rent the flats and so on and so on. So just coming there, I had to learn all these things, which is besides, of course, scientific things. But I got the very nice support of the colleagues, and they helped me. Then I applied to the very famous German fellowship, so-called in the foundation, so-called Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. So they actually support international or foreign scientists being already at the postdoc level. The most important was to find, of course, the host laboratory, and I was lucky to get acquainted with Professor Schirmacher, visiting him at the end of 1990 in Heidelberg. And I asked him whether he could be my host. I can just work in his lab. He told yes. And then I prepared the application, and he supported with the letter, and I got this fellowship, which is very good. I would recommend all students just try to apply for this, because you can get also the support to learn German language in a very high level course. This is the so-called Goethe Institute, where you can get up to 4 months of German course. Even you can get this for your partners as well, which was also paid by Goethe Institute. Of course, I wasn't able just to do the 4 months, because first of all, my boss wanted that I will start as soon as possible, and I was also eager to start as soon as possible. So we made a compromise. We had only 2 months, of course, and then I started to work in this international center. Of course, it was also a great difference. I was working in the peripheral university in France. Very nice city, very nice life. But from the scientific point of view, the level in Heidelberg was much, much higher. And at the beginning was, of course, very, very difficult. But again, I think that if you have the aim, and if you have the support, so then one can overcome this. Just do it. It's the only thing. And then, well, I worked in German Cancer Research Center for a long period of time, and I'm working still there in different positions. And now at the moment I have my own, so since already 20 years, my own independent group. And yes, so I'm looking forward what we can do further. Well, of course, I have also some influence of my father, because he was rather famous Ukrainian tumor immunologist, working also in the Institute of Oncology, Kavetsky Institute. And he also graduated from the Medical Institute at the time after the Second World War in Kiev. And this was for me more or less like a way just to continue these things, because we discussed with him a lot of things, and he told me, he explained me how interesting it is, and that's why I decided just to do this. Actually, I think that at the age of 16, because I started to study medicine at the age of 16, it's very difficult, I think, really to find what you like. And I was really lucky that to work in the or to study medicine was the right decision. And it really helped me afterwards. So it doesn't matter if you do clinical medicine or experimental medicine. So this basic education, medical education, help you just to understand, especially if you want to work in the translational field of biology. So this helped a lot. And then afterwards was clear for me that I will work in this in the science and scientific area, and I never just thought that probably was a mistake or not. No, this was, I think, well, the right decision. But it's, yeah, you have to be lucky at this moment.
Right. And I think that moving abroad influenced your academic career, right? Because like you were abroad for like 30 years. And so how did the German, French, European experience just influence on you?
Yes, it had a great influence. First of all, I obtained the opportunity just to do the experiments which I would not probably do in Ukraine and in the Soviet Union at the time. The point is also that exactly beginning of 90s was a time when immunology made a lot of progress, and it was also the time when the first mouse model appeared, which can somehow mimic the situation with tumor development in the patients. And this was and exactly the place where I was. I'm in German Cancer Research Center, so with good financial support from the German government. I mean, not my personal support, but support of the center of the work, allowed me just to make a lot of experiments, a lot of things. Actually, I was also lucky that relatively quickly I could also choose what I can do, that there were no significant pressure from bosses, so to say, from the chief of departments, for example, just to persuade me just to do the things which they want. So actually, they give a lot of freedom. Of course, it should be like in the frame of general directions. So, but you can choose and always come with your ideas. What is important that the ideas were supported, and this was also what for me was the most important is the way of discussion. So that during a seminar, so the beginning was extremely difficult because you have to read a lot. You have to not to be shy to take part in the discussion, and the most important to learn how to ask the questions, because asking the questions, so you already first of all you show that you understand the problem or understand these things, and second you can help also your colleagues somehow to think from the other side. And this what we learned during this regular seminar. First, I just faced with these things that every week you have a so-called work in progress seminar where you have to present your data or hear what your colleagues are doing. And this is really, you have to have your results next 2 months, to be able to tell something. You cannot tell, well, I did not have any results, so sorry, or something like this. No, you have to tell something. And this, of course, push you just to work as hard as possible. That's first. Second, then you have to read a lot of papers in order to be able to discuss with people. Third, there is also a kind of teamwork which was very typical for German cancer research centers. So people really worked not from 9 to 5, but all day long. They could come later to the. This was for me also very, very new. You could come later to work at 11 or 12, but then you can stay until night or everything is depending on the way of or modus of your experiment. And especially when you do some kinetic experiments, so when you have to do something, each 2 or 4 hours, and even at night. Well, actually, at that time, we lived very close to German Cancer Research Center. They had also opportunity to give you such a so-called guest house. And this was my first apartment or apartment of my family. And then I used to come also even in 10 or in the evening, 10 o'clock or even at midnight. And I always see people there working. And this is, of course, motivate you also to do the same. It's one thing. Another thing, when you want to go home and still people are there, a lot of people. So you feel yourself not very comfortable. And you have to have really a good excuse to leave the lab. Sometimes you have nothing to do, but you can talk to people, always creating the ideas. So this is what I learned, and this is what I try now to also introduce in my group working with young students, PhD students or postdoc.
Okay, can you please then summarize the advices that you can give to young scientists?
So first of all, you have to, well, the scientists should really formulate, at least for themselves, what do they want? First of all, they should decide whether they like to earn a lot of money or they like to do the good job, good work, interesting work for them. Because it's also important that the working in the science, you will not earn a lot of money, so you will not be rich. So this is very important, because now this is also the problem also in Germany and other European countries and the United States, that people after finishing their PhD work, they go to the company because they want to have higher salary, own car, for example, company car, and so on, so on. So all these attributes. So this is, I don't criticize these people because, this is their choice, because there are pro and contra. Of course, working in the science, you have a very nice opportunity, first of all, to do what you want. You can also meet a very, very nice people, and you're not obliged to tell, oh, look, I cannot tell you this because it's a company secret, And this is a very bad point when you're working in the company. The third, of course, now in the time of COVID pandemics, it's of course not possible, but usually you can visit a lot of meetings, meet international people from different countries and in different beautiful places. So this is also a good bonus to work. So then, first of all, to decide whether you like to do the scientific work. The most important, all these things dealing with the beautiful places, conferences, people, it's very nice, but this is the second. The first is if you like to do science. If you decide for you, yes, I like this, and you should formulate in which area you would like to work. So from my point of view, now tumor immunology is in a privileged situation. So as you know, that one of the Nobel Prize winner in 2019, so there were 2 people getting this for the discovery of this immune checkpoint blocking antibodies. So that's why one can find a lot of now applications and a lot of possibilities to work in tumor immunology. So this is But of course, other areas are also interesting. So as soon as you decide this, then you should, of course, the best would be to find the best lab in the world working in your favorite direction. So, but you know, in the best laboratories, of course, it's very competitive to come there. But you can in any way send applications, and the most important, and especially in Europe, is possible just to find a PhD stipend or postdoc stipend in the frame of DAD, for example, in Germany. There are also some other foundations in other European countries. If somebody like very much Heidelberg and German Cancer Research Center particularly, so could apply also for PhD stipends in the KFZ, in German Cancer Research Center. So we have like 36, I think, stipends per year, giving 2 times a year, so 18 plus 18. And you can find the conditions at the site of German Cancer Research Center. So then I would do this. And you know, just don't feel yourself bad if you are not successful in the first application, second application, third application. So try to improve all the time. And it's like, of course, it could be like a lottery, but you know, but if you do this consequently, so you will win anyway.